Have you gotten your stimulus check yet? Why not make that $1,200 work for you? Let's put that money where it can help us the most. And who better to visit with us today about budgeting than our good friend, Annika Caldwell, author of 23 and Debt Free. Annika, thank you so much for joining us today. Okay, I think we're having a little bit of a problem with her audio. Can we? Okay, so Annika, it sounds like you're back on. And first off, I just want to ask how you're doing.
We are actually doing really well. It is a blessing to be at a place where our finances are really under control. And walking through this crisis now, I'm so thankful, that we took the initiative how many years ago to pay off our debt. And we're now at a spot where, finances really are not scary for us. It's such a blessing, like I say, to live in a home where a budget is not a curse word.
So I guess I want to ask, maybe you could give us, before we jump into how you're going to recommend that we use our stimulus checks. Can you talk a little bit, your book, 23 and Debt Free, tells your whole story. You touched on this, but you had a huge amount of debt and you paid it all off by 23. So give us a quick run through how you got to this very comfortable place.
Absolutely. So when my husband and I got married, we were, drowning in debt. Basically, you name the debt, we had it: credit cards, medical bills, student loans. And even with as much debt as we had, really, we were doing okay. We had a lot of it, but we were paying our bills every month. We weren't ever really scared that we weren't going to make it, but we quickly started to realize, that we weren't getting ahead. We were really stuck in this place of financial mediocrity, and we knew that we weren't going to make progress on our goals until we got that debt out of the way, just because it consumed such a large part of our budget. And so, long story short, we began using a principle known as the debt snowball principle, attacked that debt, and paid off $97,000 worth of debt in 26 months.
That's really incredible. Okay, so let's bring it back to stimulus checks. We're kind of in an uneasy time. Some people are not working. Some people have lost their jobs. Unemployment rate is way up. So when we think about getting $1,200, and a lot of us have already got our stimulus money, we want to just go on, and splurge. But you maybe have some advice today on how we should spend it. And maybe there is a little splurge in there, but we also need to be responsible.
You're right, Lisa. We do need to be responsible with that money. And right now, when we're in the midst of a crisis, the most important thing that we can do is make sure that we're taking care of the needs of ourselves and our families. And so that begins by making sure that you've taken care of what we like to call your four walls: food, utilities, shelter, and transportation. We have to take care of those necessities before we do anything else. And now, if you're in a place where you maybe haven't lost income, it looks like you have pretty good job stability, I would still actually encourage you to be really intentional about how you use that money, to not just go out and blow it, because quite frankly, we don't know how long this is going to last, and we don't know how many more people could potentially lose their jobs. So if you are in that position of, having more job stability, you haven't lost income, you're not worried about covering those four walls, I encourage you to actually take that money and put it in a savings account and just save it until we get through this moment of crisis.
Okay, so kind of a rainy day fund.
Absolutely, your emergency fund that's just going to sit there in case something happens. And then once we get through this crisis, you can reevaluate and say, you know what, we didn't need to touch this. How can we use this to achieve some of our financial goals now?
What do you have for a recommendation if people do want to spend a little bit of it as fun money?
So often when it comes to recommendations like this, I do have a recommendation that I use for tax refunds per se, and I think it could be really applicable here. So often with a tax refund, we talk about what we like to call the 80-20 rule. We know that splurges are important. We know that they keep you motivated. They keep you thinking about your goals. And sometimes those splurges aren't even for you. Maybe it's a splurge to give to someone else, because that's so fun too. And so so with that, with tax refunds, we often think about, okay, put 80% of it towards one of your goals or a few of your goals, and then put 20% of it towards splurging. And so that could be a really nice split for people to use with this stimulus check as well.
Okay, because it is a stimulus check, we're hoping to stimulate the economy a little bit, so budget that in. I always liken this to a diet, like, budgeting your money, you want to stay on track, but you need to have a little fun too. It's all in moderation.
Absolutely.
Now, I also wanted to ask you, you have some fun things coming up that could be very beneficial, you and your husband.
Yeah, so we are going to be teaching a Financial Peace University class coming up. We're actually opening 2 sessions, and this class is going to be all online. Now, Financial Peace University is actually always offered online, but there are certain times that we as coordinators, and there are coordinators across the U.S., actually opt to host it online. The difference between, just signing up and taking this class online and actually taking it with a coordinator is that when you take it with a coordinator, you have that meeting that happens every single week. So because this is online, it'll be via Zoom, but you will have that small group of people that you come together with every single week. You get a chance to meet, to discuss the lesson, and you're surrounded by people that are making a lot of the same financial decisions that you are and are there to encourage you and hold you accountable.
So we have a graphic up right now that says what you get. Can you kind of run down some of the other things? You've touched on them.
Yeah, and so when you take a Financial Peace University class through us here at 23 and Debt Free, we actually give you access to a few different things in addition to what you already get access to. So let me back up just a little bit. When you sign up for a Financial Peace University membership, you will get access on Dave Ramsey's website to a whole slew of resources. Not only do you get the FPU class, but you also get access to 2 other classes, and you get a 1-year subscription to the Every Dollar Budgeting app, which is typically $99 just on its own. So huge benefits from Dave Ramsey's site. But in addition, we at 23 and Debt Free offer you access to a Facebook group that is just for the members of that class. It's a group with daily content that's going to encourage you and really keep you focused on your journey. We offer a 50% off discount for your first time budgeting session. And then after that, moving forward, you actually get a lifetime discount on financial coaching sessions. We feel so passionate about this class and how important it is that we want to honor that discount for FPU members moving forward.
Annika.
And then if you complete all 9 weeks of the class, we want to reward you and give you a copy of our book to encourage you on your journey.
Annika, this could not be a more perfect time to take a little closer look at your finances and budgeting and sign up for that class and take your advice. And be careful with that stimulus check. Think about how you're spending it. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us this morning.
Thank you, Lisa. Good to see you as always.
You too. Stay with us coming up here on North Dakota Today. Do you have enough bandwidth for pandemic life? Find out next on North Dakota Today.